We're also here today to announce two new programs that will use federal CARES Act funding to help Oklahomans who are struggling with their rent and Oklahomans who also own and operate small businesses. Today we are investing $10 million in an eviction mitigation program. This fund will provide reimbursements to organizations paying landlords for rental assistance to individuals or families due to COVID-19 pandemic. Organizations are eligible for up to $300,000 in reimbursement to stand up programs or team to administer or mitigate eviction filing deferments. It's available for individuals or families are eligible up to $3,600 in eviction mitigation support. By partnering with existing organizations like the Schusterman Family Foundation, Community Action Partnership, Inasmuch Foundation, the state is able to leverage existing networks and relationships to quickly get this money out to Oklahomans who need it. Restore Hope Ministries here in Tulsa is a great example of groups that we're excited to partner with. Restore Hope has prevented more than 1,000 Tulsans from becoming homeless just this last year alone. And their program has a success rate of more than 99%.
We're glad that all of you are here today at Restore Hope. Restore Hope was founded in 1978 by the United Methodist Church to reach out and help families in need. And for the last 25 of those years, we have been preventing homelessness. As the governor said, last year we helped 1,149 of our neighbors in need prevent eviction with a 99.47% success rate. Governor, it's even more helpful to know the national average is 70%. And we have not dipped below 99% in the years that we've been tracking that number. And so our program is effective, it's efficient, and these funds will help us to expand that program. Governor, with the rain coming down today, it's a little bit of a trigger back to about a year ago when we had a flood. And the river is just about 100 yards away from us. We were protected, thankfully, at Restore Hope, thanks to a levee. Unfortunately, there were others who were not protected by that levee. There is a flood of evictions in our community, in our area. Over 1,200 evictions every single month. And I hope that these funds will help us to not just provide sandbags, but to provide some of the beginnings of that levee, to help change some of the systems, to help make a difference for families in need. These are families for whom wages haven't kept up with the rise in rent. They're families who get sick and don't have access to health care. They're families who need to get to their job but don't have good transportation to get there and have to fix their car with their rent money to do just that. So thank you so much for that effort. Thank you for these funds. These funds will help us help our neighbors in need. And I pray that they will not only help those neighbors, but that they will help us to build that system, that levee, to make a difference. So thank you for that. Thank you for this amazing effort. We're proud to be a part of it. Thank you. I think it's you.
Got to run a show there, that's right. Thank you so much, Reverend. Your team is really doing a really good job. We really appreciate you. I'm also excited to announce the Oklahoma Business Relief Program. So this program is a version of the federal PPP program with a few different features. We have grants up to $25,000 for businesses who have suffered due to COVID-19. We are investing $100 million in this program in two separate $50 million tranches. And we are setting aside $20 million will be set aside for minority-owned businesses, $10 million in each phase. This program will be run through the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, and I'd like to ask Secretary of Commerce Sean Copeland to share some of the details with you. Mr. Secretary.
Governor. Appreciate it. So this is a really good day for me because it is Juneteenth. It is my birthday, and I love Restore Hope Ministries. I'm a huge fan of Jeff and what they do here. I'm equally as excited to give you a little bit more detail about this Oklahoma Business Relief Program. And we've been working for several weeks now to try to come up with what we believe is the best business relief program in the country. As the governor mentioned, it is very similar to the Paycheck Protection Program, except for the fact that it is needs-based. One of the downsides of the PPP program, as we all saw in the news, is many companies access those dollars that didn't really need it. And so in this program, we'll prove up need, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment. The timeline, which is going to be very important for both our banks that are going to help us administer the program and credit unions, as well as the businesses, will be as follows. Today, obviously, we make the announcement, and financial institutions may begin applying to be a vendor at the state level so that they can offer this program. On June 22nd and 23rd, next Monday and Tuesday, we will be offering training for all banks and credit unions statewide so that they're ready to offer the program. The application will be available on the Department of Commerce website on June 26th. And that is key. So that's the first time that our businesses will be able to access the application and apply. And we will accept applications until July the 10th. On July the 10th, that will be our phase 1 application deadline, and we'll begin distributing the grants on July the 17th. And then we will move into phase 2 for another $50 million, as the governor mentioned. There is a maximum of $25,000 per grant, and the grants are calculated by taking 2 months of payroll for the business. And so it's basically, they can take their 2019 average payroll, or they can take January and February of 2020 to determine their payroll amount, and they can get up to $25,000. As I mentioned, they must have suffered a decline in revenue of 25% from 2019 to 2020. So what we'll do is we're going to ask them to provide a P&L, a profit and loss statement for 2019. We'll look at the top line revenue, and then they will look at March through May profit and loss for this year. We'll get a monthly average, and as long as there was a 25% decline, they can qualify for this program. One bit of really good news, 501c6 organizations are eligible for our program, whereas they were not eligible for PPP. So chambers of commerce, economic development organizations, other 501c6 nonprofits are eligible. And there are really no mandates for the grant. So the business may use this up to $25,000 as they wish. As long as it is an operating expense within the business, so there aren't any requirements there. There are no fees at all. Our banks and credit unions have agreed to provide this processing at no cost to help our business community. And the businesses have to be located in Oklahoma, in good standing with the Secretary of State and the Tax Commission. They have to have been in business from January 1st before January 1st of 2020, and all types of businesses, including sole proprietors, do qualify. It's very simple to apply. The business will simply go to okcommerce.gov/relief. We will have the application there ready on Friday. They download the application, bring it along with the documents that I mentioned earlier into their local bank or credit union. The bank or credit union will then apply on their behalf to the Department of Commerce, and we will fund the grant. So we are very excited to help thousands of Oklahoma businesses that we know need it. We know what a difficult time this has been for our business community, and we're excited to do our part to try to help them. So I really appreciate the governor's support in putting such a significant sum of money behind this effort. So at this time, I would like to introduce you all to David Castillo. He is the chairman of our Minority Business Council, the first council of its kind in the state of Oklahoma, and he's going to visit about how this can impact his business community. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Put my glasses on because I'm really old. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Governor. You guys are doing an awesome job. appreciate everything that you're doing for the minority business owners across Oklahoma. About a year and a half ago, we established the Governor's Minority Business Council. It was formed to help advise the Governor and the Department of Commerce on the needs of minority business community in order to help them become successful. Minority businesses have always struggled to access capital, and with this pandemic, more than ever, minority businesses are in need of relief. Let me give you a little quick story, if I could, about what's going on in the minority community. I'll give you a story about a small company, small restaurant. It's a Mexican bakery restaurant in Oklahoma City. The owner passed away just before the pandemic hit. And so his wife had to take over the restaurant and bakery. And so, she was struggling, trying to get everything in line, trying to get it going. And then the pandemic hit. And so it really affected that business, that small business, so much. It was a restaurant and bakery, so they had to close. They had to close the restaurant side, and then they laid off all the workers on the restaurant side. They lost about 80% of their business, and so it was very difficult for her, being a new, really business owner, and then having to go through this pandemic as well. So access to capital is so important for small minority businesses. She's starting to pick it back up again, but this money that we're talking about is incredible for her. I mean, something like that will help her get back on her feet and get the restaurant going. So those are the things that there's more stories just like that across the minority community, more stories. And so us opening, or the Governor and the Secretary of Commerce opening this avenue for minority businesses is something that we've never seen before. And so we really appreciate you guys. You guys are doing a good job. The Minority Business Council was put together just for this, to open up opportunities for minority businesses. And so again, I applaud you guys and thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you, David. We, on behalf of myself and the Secretary of Commerce, it's our goal. We want all businesses to thrive, and whatever we can do to help minority businesses, we want to make sure that you guys have every opportunity you can. And so thank you for your service, your leadership. Also have Senator Allison Hickey Freeman here with us, and so thank you for your leadership. Really, really appreciate that. And we've got Representative J.D. Nolan with us as well. So thank you. I could not do it. I know Secretary of Commerce could not do it without the help of our friends in the House and the Senate. They do a really, really good job.